4 years is a lifetime when a child is missing. Families prayed, neighbors searched, and detectives followed every lead. Yet 2 little girls had vanished without a trace. Their bedrooms remained untouched, their toys gathering dust, a painful reminder of questions no one could answer. Just as hope seemed lost forever, a K-9 officer stopped dead in his tracks. His ears shot up, his nose pressed against the ground, and then came the furious barking, directed at an old, forgotten cellar just next door. What lay behind its rotting door would not only stun investigators, but also reveal the chilling secret that had been hiding in plain sight all along. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. And really, I'm curious, where are you watching from? Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. It was a warm summer afternoon when the lives of 2 families changed forever. The girls, best friends since preschool, had spent the day playing in their quiet neighborhood, skipping along the sidewalks and laughing the way only children can. Neighbors waved to them, their cheerful voices echoing against the houses. But as the evening sun dipped low, their laughter faded into silence. When the parents called them in for dinner, the yard was empty, their bicycles abandoned near the fence. Panic rose quickly. This wasn't just children playing late. It was something far worse. The police were alerted within minutes, and soon the quiet streets swarmed with flashing lights. Officers combed the sidewalks, backyards, and nearby woods, calling the girls' names into the night air. Volunteers joined, flashlights cutting through the darkness, hearts pounding with dread. But every step forward led only to dead ends. No footprints, no belongings, not even a whisper of where they had gone. By midnight, fear had gripped the entire community. Parents clutched their children tighter, whispers spread like wildfire, and the once safe neighborhood no longer felt secure. 2 little girls had vanished without a trace, and no one, not even seasoned investigators, could explain how. Days stretched into weeks, and weeks into months, but the girls never came home. Their faces stared back from missing posters plastered on street corners, grocery store windows, and school bulletin boards. Candlelight vigils filled the nights with prayers, but as seasons changed, hope slowly began to fade. Families who once shared laughter at block parties now avoided eye contact, haunted by the silence of 2 empty bedrooms. Investigators worked tirelessly, chasing leads across towns and states, but every clue dissolved into nothingness. It was as if the earth itself had swallowed the children whole. The parents, however, refused to give up. They visited every police station, every news outlet, every stranger who claimed to have seen something. Each phone call brought a flicker of hope, only to be crushed by disappointment. Birthdays passed with untouched cakes, Christmas mornings with unopened presents, and at night, the quiet sobs of mothers who could not stop wondering if their daughters were cold, hungry, or afraid. The weight of the unknown was heavier than grief itself. For years slipped by like this, an endless cycle of searching, praying, and breaking apart. Then, just as the world had begun to forget, fate stirred again. It would not be the police, nor the parents, who uncovered the truth. It would be the sharp instincts of a loyal K-9. It began as an ordinary patrol for Officer Daniels and his trusted German Shepherd, Rex. The K-9 unit had earned a reputation for uncovering what humans often overlooked: hidden drugs, fugitives, even lost hikers. But on this chilly morning, Rex's behavior was different. As they passed the old cellar next door to one of the missing girls' childhood homes, Rex froze. His ears pricked, nose pressed to the ground, and a low growl rumbled from his chest. Daniels tugged at the leash, urging him forward, but Rex refused. Instead, he lunged at the cellar door, barking furiously, claws scraping at the wood. At first, Daniels assumed it was a small animal. The cellar had been abandoned for years, its lock rusted, its hinges sagging. But Rex's barks grew sharper, almost frantic, as though something inside was demanding to be found. Neighbors emerged from their homes, startled by the commotion. Some shook their heads, dismissing it as nothing more than a false alarm. Yet Daniels had learned one thing in all his years. When Rex barked like this, it meant something was terribly wrong. With a pounding heart, Daniels radioed for backup. As officers surrounded the yard, Rex never stopped barking, his body taut like a bowstring. Every instinct told them the cellar held secrets. No one yet imagined what lay behind that weathered wooden door, or how it would shatter 4 years of silence. The cellar door groaned under the weight of the officers' efforts. Rust flaked off as crowbars wedged into the seams, each pull echoing like thunder in the quiet neighborhood. Rex lunged forward again, teeth bared, barking with a desperation that sent chills through everyone present. Parents of the missing girls stood frozen at the edge of the crowd, their faces pale, tears brimming as hope and fear collided in their hearts. What if this was finally the moment? What if it ended in heartbreak all over again? With one final strike, the old lock snapped, and the door creaked open, releasing a wave of cold, stale air. The beam of a flashlight cut through the darkness, revealing a narrow staircase leading underground. Dust particles floated like ghosts in the beam of light. Daniels hesitated, then descended, his hand resting on Rex's harness as the dog pulled him forward. The silence was deafening, broken only by the creak of each wooden step. At the bottom, the beam of light landed on something that made everyone's breath catch. A thin mattress lay against the wall, scattered with blankets, food wrappers, and a child's shoe, small, faded, unmistakably belonging to one of the missing girls. The officers froze, realization sinking in. This wasn't just a cellar. It had been a prison. The air inside the cellar grew heavier with each step the officers took. The beam of a flashlight swept across the cramped space, illuminating walls scratched with faint markings. At first, no one dared speak. The silence itself felt suffocating. Then Rex barked again, this time not in alarm, but in triumph. His nose pressed against a wooden panel at the far end of the room. Daniels tugged at it, and the thin barrier gave way, revealing a hidden compartment. Gasps erupted. Huddled together inside were 2 frail figures. Their hair was long and tangled, their faces pale from years without sunlight. Eyes wide with terror, the girls shrank back, uncertain if rescue had truly come. For a moment, the officers themselves were frozen, unable to believe what they were seeing. 4 years of searching, 4 years of despair, and here they were, alive. Tears streamed down the faces of neighbors and parents standing at the cellar door. Mothers collapsed into trembling sobs. Fathers shouted in disbelief, their voices breaking with relief. The officers rushed forward, wrapping the children in blankets, whispering words of comfort. The missing girls clung tightly, their weak arms trembling, their eyes filling with tears of their own. The nightmare was ending, and the truth had finally come to light. The girls were rushed from the cellar into waiting ambulances, their frail bodies wrapped in warm blankets as neighbors lined the street in stunned silence. Some whispered prayers, others wept openly, their voices trembling as they thanked the officers. Rex sat at the edge of the crowd, panting heavily, his sharp eyes still fixed on the cellar door, as though he knew he had just rewritten the story of 2 families. The entire town seemed to exhale for the first time in 4 years. At the hospital, doctors worked tirelessly to restore the girl's strength. Parents who had lived in limbo for years now held their daughters' hands, unable to let go, tears streaming endlessly. "We thought we lost you forever," one mother whispered, her voice breaking with both joy and grief. Though the girls had endured unimaginable suffering, they were alive, and that was more than anyone had dared to hope for. In the days that followed, the community honored Rex as a hero. The once forgotten cellar was sealed, becoming a haunting reminder of resilience and the will to survive. For the families, closure had finally come, not through clues or confessions, but through the unrelenting instinct of a dog. A truth echoed across the town. Sometimes, the sharpest eyes and bravest hearts walk on 4 legs.